Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, F.E. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. Whenever tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
Hey, what's up, brother?
We got him. We had some technical difficulties. I'm not sure what happened, but we got our guy John Wayne Parr on all the way from Australia. For us here, it's Tuesday night in New Jersey. For you over there, I guess it's like Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday late morning. But we got the legend on. This guy needs really no introduction for anybody that's a fight fan. John Wayne Parr, 10-time world kickboxing champ. Recently retired, had one hell of a career, man. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Hey, no worries. And Frankie, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, my man. Definitely pleasure having you, on a podcast, man. Definitely looking forward to this.
This is very, very surreal. Thank you for the invitation. This is cool.
How do you guys know each other?
Just because I'm a fan of his ass kickery. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, okay. So
I'm a fan of Frankie. I was at the hotel, and then the lift doors opened, and then Frankie popped out. I was like, "Holy shit, it's Frankie!" And then Frankie said, "Holy shit, it's John Wayne."
Way. That's cool, man. Where was that?
That was the
California
Ronda Rousey Zagano fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very long time ago.
Awesome, my man. How are you enjoying retirement? I know it hasn't been long, but are you living the good life over there? Is it everything you thought it would be, or do you miss the fight game?
Oh, I miss it so bad. I'm very lucky. I have a 19-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son that are both competing. I have an 8-year-old daughter as well who's competing jiu-jitsu also. So they keep me in the game. They keep me honest. It's good training them. I'm getting to the potential. It's not the same as walking to the ring or the cage myself, but at the same time, them being successful makes me very proud as well. So I can't complain. Just
Jazzy,
coming to terms
right?
of being old sucks.
Jazzy's your oldest, right? She actually
yes.
just had a win, right? She just in her boxing debut, I believe, correct?
It was her first boxing fight. She won the Australian title, and then her third boxing fight, she won the WIBA world title. So she's currently the boxing world champion, which is pretty bizarre considering it's only her third fight. But she fights again to defend her title on the middle of February here in Australia. So yeah, very exciting.
That's awesome, man. Now, did your kids pretty much grow up in your gym? I mean, sometimes sometimes that's how it works in a family business.
So funny story. So when I met my wife in Vegas, there was a Muay Thai gym in Las Vegas trained by Master Toddy. And then my wife was the star of the gym at the time, and I got offered the opportunity to teach and fight out of the gym. And then the moment we locked eyes, we're pretty much inseparable. And then after about 2 months, maybe about 4 months after going out together, we discovered that Angie was pregnant. And then we both got offered the opportunity to fight in Mexico on Dennis Warner's promotion. And then Angie did a pregnant test. She goes, "Oh, no, I'm pregnant." But we're both so poor at the time that we needed her to fight, so we could move out of her parents' house. I was like, it doesn't matter. A little bit pregnant shouldn't hurt, surely. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, my daughter does num 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 num. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea after all.
So she got a real early start then. She's been fighting since the womb then, technically.
in the womb, she was dodging and weaving.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Yeah,
when did you share that story with her? How old was she?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very cool. Now, and then the kids, because the kids are brought up in the gym, we never once pushed them to be fighters. We waited for them to come to us. And then, sure enough, all three of them, I want to start training. I want to start competing. I want to start making my own legacy. So then, and then once they had that determination factor of wanting to be successful by themselves, and then we're all encouraging. So Jazzy, back when she was 7, she goes, "I want to start fighting." I was like, "I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe wait till you're 8." So she turns 8. She goes, I'm 8 now. Can I start fighting? It's like, oh, damn it. You remembered. So we ended up getting a little padded fight, shin pads, headgear, big gloves. And then we rang the newspaper to see if they do a little story just to have something in the newspaper so we could take it out and cut it out, put it in the scrapbook for memories. And then they come and did the story. They said, is there any chance we can come to the venue and do a follow-up story to see how she goes? Oh, that'd be amazing. So they came to the event. And then Jazzy ended up getting leg kicked very hard in the first, and she had a little bit of a tear. She come back into the first round. We sat her down. Hey, come on, Jazzy. You know what to do. Try and get your blocks working. Try and use the ring. Use your footwork. And then second and third, she come back really strong. And then the both girls got a draw. And then the crowd was so inspired. Everyone's standing ovation. They all put money into the ring. And the both girls made like $150 each from the crowd tips. And then the next day, I went down to buy the paper to see if what they wrote. And then on the very front page of the newspaper, the caption was, "Bench full of drunken yobbos screaming for 8-year-old blood." I was like, oh no, what is this? And then from that second, it went viral. Every single news agency, whether it be radio, newspaper, TV, they all wanted to make me the worst father in Australia. It lasted about 2 weeks. Where every single thing was how bad John Wayne was forcing his daughter to compete in a male-dominated sport. And then that's when she was 8. Now she's 19. So fast forward 11 years, and now it's just comical. Now it's like they're all like, "Oh, we always knew she was going to be a star."
Yeah.
It's like, what happened? You guys throw me under the bus when she first started competing. So yeah, it sort of sucks, but it's all good now. It's all happy days.
Did that discourage you at all? Reading that, were you like, "Oh man"?
Oh, so bad. So bad. It was. I'm just glad. Jazzy, she could have retired. She could have gave it away. Being under all that stress of knowing that the whole of Australia is watching her, and but she sort of used it as fuel as well. And then Jazzy said she feels it too. So let's say there's 6 kids fighting. While the kids are fighting, everyone's like talking to their friends, and then as soon as the crowd hears Jazzy Parr, everyone goes, "Woof," and all eyes are on the ring, and it's like, oh no. But she trains really hard. She's really determined to be her own star, I guess. So yeah, she doesn't want to be in the shadow of mum and dad anymore. She wants to be her own champion. So that makes it fun.
That is a unique position for your kids to be in, right? And like my kids wrestle, and it's a lot to live up to. You know, it's a lot of pressure on them. Like it's unwarranted. It doesn't even need to be. Like I always tell my kids.
I'm sure your kids are the same, Frankie. I'm sure how every time they jump on the mats, everyone's like, "Ooh."
Yeah, and I always try to just reassure them like this. I don't care if you ever win another match again. You're still my kid. I love you. You know what I mean? That's all that matters.
Yeah. Oh no, we don't tell them that. We say if you lose, you're walking home.
I can't imagine you saying that, bro. But can I just say, man, the weather here in New Jersey is absolutely fucking horrendous. It's been absolutely horrendous for at least a week now. And I'm looking in the background there, and you got like a tropical fucking paradise in the background. I'm so envious, man. I'm so envious.
Yeah, we're summertime. We're completely opposite. So we're midsummer now.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I put a shirt on to get dressed up. I didn't want to go bare chested for the podcast, just in case.
What's that like living in Australia? I mean, listen, it's on my bucket list for sure. If it wasn't so far away, I already would have come. But don't they say there is more stuff per like square mile that can kill you in Australia than any other place in the world? Like you guys got some weird critters over there. No big deal.
Yeah, it's funny. So what happened? I got the opportunity to teach and train in Las Vegas. That lasted about 3 months, and then me and Angie come to that. Decided to move to San Diego. Moved to San Diego for 6 months, and then I was working in a boxing club. The Muay Thai scene in America is not very big, so I had no other option but to teaching boxing. And then the money was okay, but it wasn't fight money. And then the opportunity came to compete in Australia for $5,000. Wow, I've got to go home. I'll make some quick cash and come back again. So I went home, won the fight. Made $5,000, and then as I was about to come back to America, I got to the airport, and they said, "Where's your return ticket?" I said, "Oh, I got a return ticket, but it's in America. The promoter paid for this ticket, so I've only got the one way, but I got another ticket." She goes, "The lady at the airport said, that's not going to help you now. We need to see a return ticket to make sure you're going to come home again." Otherwise, you cannot board this flight. I'm like, well, what do I do? I don't know what. She said, well, what you can do, you can buy a one-way ticket now, and then when you get to America, just cash it in and refund it and get your money back. Oh, that's easy enough. How much is that ticket? $4,500. So, holy shit! I've only got 5. Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So then I give her my 4,500. I catch the plane. I get to LAX, and then immigration's like, okay, so when was the last time you were here? I said, I was here approximately 3 weeks ago. And how long were you here? I'm here for 3 months. I was here for 3 months. You're not allowed to stay 3 months on this visa. You're only allowed to stay 90 days. Well, technically, isn't that 3 months? So the gentleman, I got my passport and he counted the days. 92. You're 2 days over your visa. We're going to have to put you on the next plane back to Australia. You're getting deported. It's like, no
way.
And then my wife's 7 months pregnant. I wasn't allowed to see her. We had to correspond through the airport security. They ended up holding me in the airport for 36 hours before they put me on the next plane home. And then on the way home, they said, oh, by the way, you're not allowed to come back to America for 5 years. I said, oh, I got a wife. I got a pregnant wife right now. Yeah, zero care factor. So that's how Angie ended up coming to Australia. She ended up selling our car and our belongings and our furniture to raise enough money to buy a plane ticket. And then we just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. So she's been in Australia for 20 years now. All because I got deported. Otherwise, I'd still be working in the boxing club somewhere.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah, crazy. So now she has to put up with the dangerous animals as well. But she comes from Victorville, from the desert. So she's used to all the craziness, I guess.
Yeah. The critters.
Yeah, man. So, living in Australia, like obviously you're on an island. What in doing what you do in kickboxing and in Muay Thai do a lot of people fly in? I mean, or is the fight pool literally just picked from the island? Are you fighting the best of the best on in Australia, or do people come in for
sure.
for these tournaments and stuff, and they see the money and they'll fly in because that's a 13-hour flight or something, right?
So you mentioned Ireland, but so did you know if you superimpose the map of Australia and put it over the map of America, from New York to California is the same distance from Sydney to Perth.
Is that right? No, I didn't know that.
We're not quite an island per se. We're rather big, and yeah, we the fight community here in Australia is massive. Between boxing, Muay Thai, MMA, it's quite. And then I've been very lucky to travel international. So out of my 150 fights, I think I've had approximately 80 something international fights out of that. So
wow.
I cleaned up my backyard in Australia, and then I went overseas to try and to be the best that I could in that respect. So you can't just, if you want to be a world champion, you have to fight all over the world, I guess.
Right.
There's no point just staying in the backyard and trying to be the big fish in the little pond. You gotta go and prove your name all over the world.
Yeah. How heavy does that weigh on you to not get that 100th win? I know you wanted that so bad, man.
It's just take it as it comes. Just adventures, fight adventures. I love the opportunity of jumping on a plane and going somewhere for a week and being out of your comfort zone and learning new cultures and new fight fans and new stadiums. And there's no better feeling to walk into somewhere as the bad guy, and then halfway through the fight, fighting exciting enough to change the atmosphere of the fight, so everyone starts cheering your name by the last 2 rounds. And then on the way out, way back to the change room, just high-fiving all the people back on the way, is just makes you feel makes it all worth it. That's the joy of fighting. It's just just living it.
It's crazy for me, who I'm not a fighter, obviously, but looking at a guy that's fought at the pinnacle of what you do for 30 years. This guy over here has fought for 20. I mean, between the two of you, 50 years of fighting, man. Fighting at the highest level. That's crazy.
It's
absolutely crazy.
Much
fun. John, where's your best place, you think? If you had to pick one best place, where's the best place
Japan. I love Japan. I was very lucky to fight in Japan 17 times. And then just the... have you fought in Japan before?
I fought once in Japan, and honestly, it was
were the fans crazy?
Oh yeah, quiet more than home, But
in the hotel, all the fans camp out in the foyer. So every time you go downstairs and the lift doors open, you have like 50 people rush to the lift, all asking for photos and signatures, and you almost have to get your mind ready to go downstairs every time, because you know it's half an hour before you can get out the door because the foyer is so crazy, full of nuts. And then one time I was fighting for K1, and as I just left the hotel, I was walking down the street, and a gentleman was walking towards me. And as he seen me, he dropped to his knees and starts crying. I'm like, holy shit, are you okay? And then he, in broken English, I come to the hotel. He pulls out a watch out of his pocket to give you a present. And I see you on the street. It was meant to be that I see you. I can't believe it. And it's like, holy crap. So I gave him a big hug, and he's like, ah. And then, yeah, it was just so cool. It was just, they really make you feel special. The Japanese fans are just so passionate.
Yeah,
And then they really make you feel like a star. And then the funny part is, in Australia, there's so many different sporting activities that there's so many famous people that you don't really pay attention. So you go overseas for a week, and you're a somebody for 7 days, and you come back to Australia and you blend back into this crowd again, and like nothing's happened. So it's quite two different worlds.
America's a lot like that too. So many different sports that people aren't into fight sports as much as others. So you get that here too.
So back home, like in Australia, you're just a regular Joe. You can just go anywhere, and nobody's like, "That's
just
awesome."
Johnny.
Yeah, that's cool.
I usually owe a lot of people money, so I got to try.
Well, speaking of Johnny, you've got the baddest name in the whole fight game, bro. And your name, you're Wayne Parr, right? But somebody added John to the front. Who named you John Wayne? I mean, it's the fucking greatest name.
In Thailand, everyone has a fight name. You can't just be John or whatever. So for an example, in Thai, someone's name might be 100,000 techniques, or the famous Thai liver, that's his name, was the small candlelight flame. Like everything's deep and meaningful. And then for my first fight for the camp, they go, "Oh, what are we going to call you?" I said, "Oh, I don't know." And they said, "Oh, what's your history?" I said, "Oh, my parents are horse trainers. We had horses." "Oh, so you're like a cowboy." "John Wayne. We're going to call you John Wayne." I'm thinking, "Oh, no, that sucks. That's the dumbest name ever." I said, "Oh, maybe I'll use it when I stay in Thailand. And once I come back to Australia again, I'll just go back to being something else." And then I got famous. I was like, damn it, now I'm stuck with his name again. But it's cool now. Now I introduce myself to everyone as John, and my parents call me John by mistake all the time. And yeah, it's sort of stuck like mud now.
John Wayne's a badass, bro. That's a badass name. Over here, he's pretty widely respected as a badass. So that's a cool name, man.
Between the Gacy's and the Bobbits, I'm not too sure if it's that good.
So now your son does jiu-jitsu as well, right?
Yes,
he's more into the jiu-jitsu part of it?
At this stage, yes. He's only 14. He can't do MMA until he's 16. Okay. So he's just getting his ground game as solid as possible. He's very lucky this year because Angie hadn't been home in a few years with the COVID. So she went home to visit family. And while they were there, they got the opportunity to travel to Texas to compete. And then a week later went to Florida. So Jesse went into the competition. His first comp, he got tapped out by a really strong kid. And then a week later, they went to Florida. And then this is for the Pan-Pac jiu-jitsu over there. So he won his first 3 fights in Florida. And then he gets to the final. And who does he meet? The kid that he wrestled in Texas. It's like, oh, no, not that kid again. So Jesse was super focused. And I'm going to teach this kid a lesson this time. So the first half of the competition, like it was even. And then Jesse did a maneuver, and the referee didn't give him his points. So as Jesse was holding him, he sort of looked up and said to the referee, "Oh, I believe that was 2 points, sir." And the referee said, "Deduction, 5 points for speaking to the referee." Oh, and then Jesse ended up losing by like 1 point. If he hadn't got the deduction, he would have won gold for the Pan-Pacs. But yeah, he learned a very valuable lesson that day not to speak to the referee. So it was very emotionally crushing, but at the same time, big lesson learned.
Yeah, lesson learned. Hey, but it's good that he made that ground in such a short time too.
Yeah. In that respect, he learned so much from the opportunity. So yeah, it's a big learning curve.
I read somewhere that you were inspired. I think you were like 11 years old or something. You were inspired by a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie to start training. Taekwondo, I believe, was your first.
Oh yes,
your first martial art. No, I think that guy inspired everybody. He inspired me. I just didn't pick it up, but Jean-Claude Van Damme inspired a lot of people, man. A lot of people.
Oh, yeah, he's the man.
In the movies,
yeah,
anyway.
my room was full of posters, and back in the VHS days when you go to the video shop and then the new poster would come out, and then you put your name in the back of the poster to try and wait for it to come out. So yeah, my room was just completely full. It didn't matter how not so cool the pictures were of Van Damme standing there all dressed up, and it's like, the cool ones are good, but then sometimes you just wanted to get a poster just to add another space, and then yeah, and then my parents are like wondering, why don't you have girls in your room like a normal boy? They were questioning my sexuality at a young age.
That's funny, man. Frankie's got a funny story. You just mentioned VHS tapes. They're doing some renovation, some cleanup work here, and tell them the story, man.
Yeah, I got a crew in my basement, doing work, and they're up in the drop ceiling, and behind some insulation, they just found about like 15 VHS pornos up there from someone that lived here in the past.
Yeah,
they got some sex sex track, and Debbie Does Dallas, and
I'm gonna be at the thrift store later picking up an old VHS player now.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's seen a VHS player in at least 15 years, 20 years maybe? 20?
Yeah.
Been a long time.
Hey, John, I know I reached out to you, but I was telling Rogers, I got my hip replaced. I got it resurfaced like you did. And the reason I did it was because I've seen you went through it, and obviously you fought after it. I'm like, oh wait, you can fight after this? That's why I got it done. But yeah, thank you for that. I remember reaching out to you, gave me some info on it. I mean, my hip feels amazing. I don't know about yours, but
yeah, for sure. Sometimes I got to question myself which leg did I get operated on.
Yeah, right.
100% pain free now. It's I was back competing in the KG, and hang on, I think my things are on flat. It's a moment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yep.
Oh no. Oh no. Hello, gentlemen.
Yep, we got
you.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it was very lucky to. I probably rushed back to competing a little bit too early because the hip wasn't 100%. But I just wanted to prove to myself that I could still get in there and still do my best. I had 2 more fights after my hip. Even though I didn't compete, just the happiness of being able to make that walk again was just and being able to retire on my terms and not have my hip determine when I was going to stop or not. So that was a big factor too.
Mm.
Yeah, it's amazing what they could do nowadays. Honestly, who would think they get a hip replacement and still go in there and fight? It's nuts.
You didn't really talk about yours. You had a fight not that long after, and you really kept it on the down low and didn't really talk about it until after your fight.
Yeah. But I think I got it in March, and I fought in November. So yeah, about 7-8 months.
Yeah, I remember 7 days. I think it was 7 days after this guy's hip replacement. We're in the basement at his house. We built the podcast room down here, but like 7 days after, he put the crutches down in the kitchen, walked down the stairs down here with no crutches. I was like, damn, bro, that's pretty good for having. I saw the pictures, and I guess it was just pictures, maybe a video too of his hip replacement. It was nasty, man. They cut him wide. They cut you guys wide open.
That's awesome.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, the technology these days is unbelievable. The fact that you can go back to competing again, it's so good. Very very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're how's your gym doing? Right, Boon Chew Gym in Queensland.
Bunchu, yes.
Yes.
No, we're doing very well. We incorporated jiu-jitsu mats to the gym approximately nearly 3 years ago now. So between the jiu-jitsu, the Muay Thai, the boxing, the MMA, yeah, we're every weekend. We're somewhere Friday night, Saturday night, usually Sunday. Our weekends are more busy than our weekdays, just with all the competitions coming up. Between the kids and the adults and everything, it's fun.
Awesome,
It keeps you on your toes.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and that's the best part of it. You do all the training during the week, and then Friday you get to see. Or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's time to kick ass.
That's awesome.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Do you know Mike Swick, aka Thailand? I know you spent a lot of time in Thailand. I don't know if that was like existed at the time you were over there fighting, but now,
Yeah.
But do you know him?
Well, we know each other through the internet and through social media.
Okay.
Never actually met in person.
Okay.
But yeah, back in the day, the Phuket and the Samois, it wasn't really taken off just yet. It wasn't until I got back to Australia that it started to really boom. Yeah, if you wanted to be a star, you had to be in Thailand. I had to be in Bangkok. Sorry, the islands are good, good training, opportunity to compete in the smaller stadiums. But to get worldwide recognition, you really have to put the hard yards in Bangkok, where against the number one competition. You can have 20 fights on the islands and not be a nobody. You have 5 really good fights in Bangkok, and all of a sudden the whole world knows who you are. So
Is that right?
yeah, big difference.
Wow. I know he struggled a lot getting that gym up and running. He failed a few times and came back to the States, and he was so focused on getting it there. And I remember him telling the story. We've had him on the podcast before, but there's a lot of people telling him like, "Why are you going there, man? You're going to a place that doesn't, it's not
more gyms. I think there's more gyms in Thailand per capita than anywhere in the world.
Right.
Yeah, crazy.
And
his gym's absolutely amazing. On the beach, he's got his basketball court there now as well. Weight set up, jiu-jitsu room, MMA room. The Muay Thai there seems to be flourishing.
He proved all the naysayers wrong. He really did.
Yeah, he kicked all the goals now. He's living the dream, that's for sure. And then, but considering you're living on an island as well, like what better place to set up camp?
Yeah, right.
Exactly, man. So, what's the future hold for you, John? Man, you look good, bro. You look happy. I mean, you look like you're a guy that lived it all, and you're just enjoying the retired, quiet life now. But what's the future hold for you? Just focusing on the kids and the gym, and
yeah, pretty much. I'm still coming to terms with retirement. Frankie, how are you going with it? Like,
yeah, kind of the same. I mean, it's so new. It's such a new thing. It's tough to really see where you're gonna go.
Yeah, it's a lot of questioning. I only been retired since April, and then I've been thinking about it so much. You spend your whole life as a kid just dreaming of being a star and dreaming of the big opportunities, and then all of a sudden you're doing it, and you're on the big shows, and you're fighting in the big stadiums, and then all of a sudden it just stops. And it's like, well, my whole dream since I was 4 years old was to be this guy, and now I've been there and done it, and now I don't know what plan B is just yet. My only focus, my whole 46 years of being on this planet, is just to be the best fighter I could possibly be. And then when that stops, it's like, I don't know who I am anymore. It's really confusing. Like I love watching my kids, and I love teaching in the gym, and I love teaching my classes, and but just not having that what's the word I'm looking for? The excitement of waking up and knowing that I have to train, knowing I have to how important. I come to the realization before retirement how doing pads controlled my life. I'd cancel birthdays, I'd cancel parties, I gotta do pads, I gotta train, I gotta do pads. And then when you're retired, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, now I gotta go to parties. Now I gotta go to this. I gotta socialize. Damn it. I can't be a hermit anymore. Yeah. But it's sort of weird how your whole state of mind is just so in the zone. There's no ifs or buts. Training is the only thing that's important, and when that stops, it's like, now what do I do? But
do you still train? Do you still train at all?
A little. I still like running. I like training the kids. I like having a hit on the pads and doing sparring with the boys, and still keep active in that respect. But just another one is that having a date. So let's say you're fighting 1st of March. So for the next 10 weeks, all you're thinking about 1st of March, 1st of March, 1st of March, 1st of March. And then that date comes and goes. Now you got a new date.
Right.
So not having that date anymore, you just that I miss the anxiety of I got to be fitter, stronger, faster. And then now that's all gone. Now I just got to maintain not being fat.
Well, your kids will keep holding you accountable, right? You don't want them to pass you up too much, you know.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, they're my main drive now is to make them hopefully live the opportunities I got to live going overseas and making enough money where they don't have to work a proper job and to live the fighter lifestyle. There's no better lifestyle than the train, travel, conquer, and be happiness.
Well, they got a great example to follow. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I was doing a little research on you, John, because obviously I wanted to have some talking points or whatever, and I knew you'd had the hip replacement because I knew Frankie had talked about it with me, and like you said, that was, he saw how you recovered and you got it. So I literally Googled, John Wayne Parr injuries, and the first thing that pops up is it says John Wayne Parr has had it literally says an incredible amount of facial stitches. Literally, that's like the first thing that pops up.
How many do you think you got?
350 stitches so far.
Wow.
Yeah. So my first fight I got 8. A couple fights later, I got 21, and then my third lot of stitches, I got 54 stitches in one fight. 5 cuts, 54 stitches. So in the space of 3 fights, I've already had like 80 something stitches, and then you get lazy 20 here, another 30 there, another 15, 20 over there, and then before you know it, and then I was trying to get it in sets of 5, so whether it be 5, 10, 15, and then that way it's a lot easier to keep track of. As soon as a doctor throws in a 3 or a 7, it's like, you're messing up my OCD. I don't want to have some crazy number. Just give me sets of 5s. Even if you give me 3, then put 2 on my finger, it's fine.
Just make the stitches bigger. So yeah,
make the stitches smaller. Get more in there, then.
Yeah, either way.
I'm probably about 100. I think I got about 100 in my face. But geez, 350. Holy cow!
This guy's had stitches in his tongue. You ever had that?
Oh.
My tongue and my cheek.
My worst one was in my lips and my eyes. So when you get them in your lip, when the doctor pulls the string, your lip feels like a fish. It's like, oh no, this sucks. Yeah. And then the ones in the eyes are terrible too, because you see that the needle coming straight towards your eyeball. It's like, no.
Oof, yeah.
So yeah, that's always a pain in the ass. But and then the worst one's the local anesthetic before they give you the stitches. So I think that hurts more than the stitches themselves.
Yeah. When I got my tongue done, the guy hit me with the local. And then he's stitching me, and I'm like, oh, I feel it. He's like, well, let me give you more Novocaine. I'm like, no, just give me the damn stitch. It's the same thing. Just give me the stitch.
That's great, man. That's crazy. So obviously, man, I mean, you guys both have had illustrious careers, fought a ton of people, fought the who's who. I think you've got something like 133 fights between Muay Thai and kickboxing and like 14 actual boxing fights. Is there one? If you had to pick one, is there one that stands out to you as one that is just more memorable than the other ones?
The for fight memory, as in the best one.
Yeah.
I won a world title at Rajadamnern Stadium, which is the #1 stadium in Bangkok. I had to fight 3 people in 2 hours. So I fought a gentleman from Russia. I knocked out a gentleman from France. And then in the final, I had to fight a Thai that had already beaten me 3 times in the past. And then I know I got to fight him in the final now. And then, so how it worked was that the first fight was 3 rounds, the second fight was 3, and then the final was 5 rounds with elbows. So, I ended up winning all 3 fights. And then live on Thai TV too. So between the #1 stadium and fighting on TV, the next day, every single newspaper, radio, TV, they're all showing my face everywhere. And tuk-tuk was stopping on the road and jumping up and asking for my photo and signatures and just to get the recognition from the Thais. it was like the ultimate dream come true. That all I ever wanted to be was accepted from the Thais, and now I'd finally got to the stage where they were treating me like I was some sort of star. So it was really after all the years living there, it just made everything, all hard work and sacrifice and being away from family and friends for so long. It all came down to that one spot where it's just like it's finally came true. The dream came true.
That's how you know you're talking to a legend. When I ask, do you have one memorable fight, and you say, "Oh, that time that I knocked out 3 top tier guys all in 2 hours." That's how you know you're talking to a legend.
Yeah, it's such a special moment. I couldn't sleep for like 3 or 4 days, just the excitement. And, I tell people, the excitement of fighting is when you knock somebody out. Have you ever seen the movie Highlander? Where the lightning comes down from the ceiling and then all the electricity goes through the guy's body, and that's the sensation you feel when you win by knockout. Just the endorphins are running through, and you feel every single hair follicle in your skin. It's like it's the ultimate. And then you retire, and then you don't have that sensation anymore.
Say, that's the chase, right? Once you get that feeling, you're always chasing that, right? It's almost like a high in a way, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking and taking up heroin just to try and get that buzz back.
Hey, let me know. Let me know how that works for you.
You could just knock out people on the street, you know.
Ooh, yeah, you don't get paid though, unless you're Rob.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
And plus,
speaking of that, I mean, you've been fighting for 30 years professionally at the highest level, knocking out, top tier dudes. Has John Wayne Parr been in street fights? And if you have you only once?
Yeah, when I was 19, I got into an altercation with a gentleman from Poland. This is in Thailand too. I'd only been in Thailand about 2 months, and then they in Thailand every year in April they celebrate a water festival holiday, where it's the hottest part of the year, and the whole country stops to play water fights. And then I had a fight the night before and I had a win, so we were celebrating the next day, having some whiskeys. And then everyone's wetting everyone. It's just fun. And then for some reason, this big Polish gentleman, he wet me. So I wet him back. And then he drops his bucket and he storms up to me. He goes, if you wet me one more time, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, what? And then he's like, are you French? And it was that moment I realized I shouldn't have answered with oui, because he got rather angry at me. And next minute, he kicked me in the arm. I said, oh, I guess we're fighting. So I've gone to punch, and then I've ended up falling. I threw a kick and falling over all fours. And then as I was getting up off my hands and knees, I felt this thonk in the back of my head. And I stood up, and blood's just gone, brah. And then my friends end up grabbing some glasses and throwing up and trying to get away from me. And then he's come and grabbed me. You okay? You okay? Do you know what happened? So he must have cut me with a ring. He must have had a ring on. He goes, no. He just got hit over the head with a bar stool. So, I don't feel too good right now. So we ended up going to the hospital. He hit me with a chair. Even though he hit me once, I have 2 big cuts in the back of my head. And then so I ended up going to the hospital. It cost me 5,000 baht, about $250 to get 14 stitches.
Wow.
So the next day I had the bandage on my head, and a Thai gentleman's like, oh, what happens to your head? So I got hit with a bar stool last night. And the Thai gentleman explained, if you get those guys arrested, you can get compensation back, get your money back. So, oh, really? Oh, okay. So we put in a police report. We went back to the bar that he hit me, and there he was. He was sitting on the stool. There he is. So we go tell the police, hey, he's just over there. So they send in a SWAT team. They go and arrest him, handcuff him, take him back to the station. They tell me to come and follow. And then the police asked, all right, it was a very serious offense. How much money do you want? I said, well, it cost me 5,000 baht for the stitches. I'd really like my money back because I'm here for like a long time, and I don't have much money, so I definitely want my money back. And they're going, oh, look, it's a very serious offense. We're gonna leave him here in the watch house overnight. Then as I was walking out of the station, the policeman followed me. He whispered in my ear, hey, tomorrow when you come back, ask for 10,000 baht. 10,000? Sure. That sounds like a good idea. So I come back in the morning, and then the police say, oh, look, he has no money. He has to get money wired over from Poland. He's not going to get that till this afternoon, so come back then. And as I'm about to leave, the policeman whispers in my ear, hey, ask for 20,000. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So then afternoon, I come back again, and the police say, hey, we've been in his ear all day. We're making him cry. We're telling him that if he doesn't pay the money by this afternoon, we're going to send him to Bangkok jail. We're putting all these things up. So we ended up getting you 28,000 baht. I'm like, really? That's sensational. Thank you so much. So they opened the cell. They let the Polish guy be on his way. And then the policeman points at me, hey, you, come with me. I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. So we walk down the stairs. We go into the toilet. The policeman goes into the cubicle. He calls me in. He closes the door. He's like, all right, so I got you 28,000 baht. Today is my day off. I didn't have to be here today, but I wanted to help you. So out of that 28, you owe me 8,000 baht. I'm like, oh, sure. So I give him 8,000. He goes, all right, now get out of here. I'm like, oh, yes, sir, no worries. So at 19 years old, being in Thailand for 2 months, I learned very fast how how corrupt the Thai police are. So I learned how to be very polite and not to cause any trouble, because if this is me winning, I'd hate to be losing, because the Thais, they're nicest people in the world, and until you're that guy. Yeah.
See, you said before that street fighting doesn't pay, so it does pay.
Hey, and he won, and he cost him money to win. It's better off losing. You make more money from losing than you do winning.
Yeah, that's the scary thing with street fights, is people fight dirty, man. It's always it's a different game. At least you guys know what's coming at you. You know, it's elbows, punches, kicks. You get in a fight in the street, someone picks up a beer bottle. I saw a guy actually one time at Bamboo get hit in the face with a beer bottle, and it broke, and it left. I mean, you could see like the white meat hanging out of his face. It was so deep. It was nasty. And I heard the kid that did it went to jail.
The Thais, even though they're all Muay Thai professionals and all professional, they no one fights hand on hand. Everything's steel pole, bottle, knife, gun. There's no one on one. It's all just there. And because life's so cheap over there, if you happen to go missing, and I know of camps that over there. The fights are very influenced by the mafia. So someone can give you a tap on the shoulder, and let's say you're making, say, 50,000 baht a fight. You can get a tap on the shoulder. Hey, we'll pay you 500,000 baht if you happen to go down in round 2. And then all of a sudden, these boxers got all this money and all this jewelry, and it's like, hang on a second. So one of our guys, he all of a sudden came into a bit of money, and he started showing off a bit and started having the nice glasses and everything. So the camp owner, he sort of questioned him and called him into the room. He said, if I find out you're going to throw the fight tomorrow, you're going to wish you were somewhere else. So he ended up convincing all the other fighters to run away from the camp that's very night. So the camp was left a ghost town with no income from the fighters for the camp until they build up their reputation again. And then I know of other camps that their guys have thrown fights in the past, and then the camp owner, to rectify what's been happening, he had those 2 gentlemen assassinated, and it only cost approximately 5,000 baht for the police files to go missing. So the police are on the take for even when it comes to the serious as people dying, it's they can be paid off. It's like quite bizarre. So yeah, there's no way I'd wish that on anybody, but yeah. And then the camp owner, anyone else want to throw a fight? Everyone's like, hold on, yeah, I'm good, I'm good.
Wow.
So
listen, we're catching up over here in America. You ever heard of Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes. James Krause.
We're catching up.
James Krause.
Yes.
I'm all over it. Yeah, that was crazy. That was a bizarre situation. I'm watching it from afar. I'm reading all the forums and the websites, and just seeing how UFC cutting. He's not even allowed to have his fighters on shows now, which is quite. And that's your reputation and your gym. Like, what do you do for an income when all of a sudden you're not allowed to have anyone come into your gym anymore? It's like, how do you stay above water? How do you?
So what was he doing exactly? Because I don't know the story. He was betting on his own fighters, or against.
But I think he was having guys take dives,
I believe he had a website, a betting website set up, and people could ring him, and he'd give them their tips. And then he was making more money through his betting agency than he was through his fighters.
Right.
Which is probably not a good look. Wow. Looking back now.
Yeah, I remember that when that fight that kind of raised the questions. a buddy hit me up, was like, "Hey, you know a bookie?" I'm like, I cooking with some guy I know. Then my buddy, the other guy hit me up, was like, "Bro, this guy wants to spend 20, 30 grand. Does he have it?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe he knows something." And that was he never took the bet, but that was the fight that raised all the questions.
What fight was that? Do you remember?
It was
Yeah, they show the graph of the betting influx of his fighter that he knew was going to lose just in the last 2 days. Just went
right.
Yeah, it was insane how many people had money on that to lose, not just to lose, but to lose in the first round. That's like, it's a lot of people that seem to know something that no one else seems to know.
Right,
so
it's
very suspicious.
Wow. So was that a federal crime?
I think so. Yeah.
He's gonna do federal time then. That's wow. Damn. So yeah, that's that. He lost his entire fight camp. Then he not even allowed to coach.
He did. Yeah.
Damn, man.
Hey Frankie, you ever been to Australia?
I have not. I plan on coming soon. I know UFC gym, Australia. I was supposed to go out recently, but yeah, I in the future I'm gonna for sure, and I'll have to get in touch.
You have to come and visit. I live on the most where I live is the holiday capital of the world. I live on the beach.
That's
we live close to tourist capital. Not tourist capital of Australia. We have all the theme parks. So you have to bring your kids, and I can take you on a tour.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
And then your winter's my summer too. So if you want to escape the cold, come and visit.
It's been miserable here.
Yeah, it's been super cold. Super cold.
It's been super cold, John. This week has been like ridiculous cold, and this guy keeps asking me to come over to do these ice baths. Do you do those?
Yeah.
Do you do them?
No.
Exactly. See, if the dude fought for 30 years, I don't have to do them anymore. They're not that good for you.
My pee is small enough that I don't have to go on the ice. I'm too scared.
Hey, I want you guys' take on something. It seems to be the new thing out now. I think Dana White's even coming out with it. This slap boxing stuff. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
So my take is, you know how Mark Zuckerberg's gone from Facebook to Meta?
Yeah. Right.
And he had the perfect Facebook was going perfectly, and I think Dana White's doing the same. He's got the perfect business with the UFC, and now he's gonna sacrifice his reputation for the slapboxing thing. It seems like it's such a bizarre.
Yeah.
To because fighting takes so much skill.
Right.
MMA, you need so many different aspects, but to just slap someone in the face, like really, what sort of defense do you have against a slap in the face? Where it's like, I don't know. It seems quite weird. I don't know.
It's almost a spectacle. That ain't.
Yeah, it's a novelty, which is what I thought it was until I heard he was getting involved in it. I was like, Jesus, if he's taking it serious, because that guy's serious about making money, then maybe there's something to it. But there is nothing to it. I mean, it's exactly what you said. It's usually two fat dudes slapping each other across the face, and whoever doesn't go unconscious wins.
Well, they're putting him in a house, though, I think, right? They're going to kind of do like the Ultimate Fighter with this. So I think that's
How do you train?
You just smack pads, right? You just smack a heavy bag, open hand, right?
I don't know.
And then we're in 2023 almost. And then everyone's educated on what CTE is and brain damage and concussions. And
good point.
And you're willing to have your hands down behind your back to let someone give you a free.
Good point.
3 free shots, not 1 free shot, 3 free shots.
That's how it works. It goes like, 3. It goes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 till the end. Wow.
And then let's say you win, and then you got to go and back up and do it again. And it's like, geez, this is just it doesn't seem quite good for the one's brain.
No.
There's all kinds of like these novelty like things, like slap boxing is one of them. Frankie and I were we were talking about it the other day. They have like phone booth fucking fighting now, where you get into a phone booth. They have
I see jiu-jitsu in a car.
Jiu-jitsu in a car. Have you seen this shit? It's crazy what's going on.
So 2012. 2012, I came up with the idea of doing Muay Thai in a cage.
Yeah, we were talking about this before. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the. I was watching UFC and MMA, and I seen everyone fighting in this cage. It's like I've been fighting in a ring for so long. This cage looks so amazing. This looks so brutal and so exciting. and then I went onto the YouTube to see if anyone was doing it, and then they had a few people doing kickboxing, but they were wearing the big gloves. It's like, how am I supposed to get the respect from the MMA crowd if I'm wearing big gloves and the MMA guys are wearing little gloves, and they're gonna think I'm a pussy if I'm wearing the big gloves. So if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this properly. I got to wear the MMA. So I put the idea online. Hey, I'm thinking about coming up with this promotion. What does everyone think? And I just got smashed. Everyone's like, "How dare you? Who do you think you are? You're only trying to do this to make money, and out of all the people to do this, especially someone who's been to Thailand, you're trying to kill the tradition of the sport." It's like, I just have this funny feeling that it's going to be brilliant. I just think it's going to work. So then I went and tested a few different gloves, and all the gloves were small. And then I went to one fight store, and they had the MMA sparring glove. And I thought, well, if I'm going to stand and strike for 5 rounds, I want a little bit more protection than just the normal MMA gloves. So maybe a bit more padding. So it was more of a 6 ounce than a 4. And then we did our first show. And then from the first fight to the last fight, it was just electric. It was so exciting. Just the gloves brought a completely different, like violence. There's so many more openings than you do when you with the big gloves. And there was so much more tenacity to try and hurt your opponent and knock them out because you didn't want to just win by points. And then did our first show, and it was a big success. So we ended up doing 10 promotions all up. And now I'm so happy that Mr. Chatri from One Championship has taken my idea and run with it with their show now, making everyone do the Muay Thai in the cage with the MMA gloves as well. So it's like the ultimate compliment to see the elite fighting at the highest level in the cage now under Muay Thai rules. It makes me very proud.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's cool.
Yeah,
it's not MMA in a phone box, but it's still okay.
Yeah. Little more. I guess consequences. A little more dramatic. I guess, right? With the small gloves.
And then it changes the game too because now that you're in a cage, you can't use the ropes to your advantage anymore. You got to try and stay off the fence. And because the gloves are so small, you need more footwork. You can't just stand in the pocket and trade anymore. You need to be a bit more educated. It really changed the whole game. And when you happen to land, you got to capitalize, which makes the fight more exciting for the crowd too, because you're going for the kill and trying to not just win, but win in the most violent fashion possible. So, and that's what people are paying good money for.
Sells,
so,
yeah. Violence sells.
Definitely.
Hockey games, violence sells. NASCAR, violence sells. People look for crashes. Violence always sells, you know. So
and now you have the elite Thais fighting each other in the cage with MMA gloves as well, which is just next level. It's so brutal to see guys on the highest of the high competing against each other. One mistake and then it's all over. So with the big gloves, you can get away with making a mistake here or there, but with the little gloves, there's
no forgiveness.
Right.
No
John, did you
back.
ever train a ground game at all? Did that ever interest you? Like, maybe transitioning over into MMA?
Just a little. Nothing too bad. I'm still definitely a white belt. But I like to jump in there and have a little role every now and again with the boys in the gym, and I like to play wrestling with my son. And even though my son's really, really good, I'm a lot bigger, so size matters. I learned that size matters when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And he gets me in a dominant hold to just lay on him, just do the dead weight, and he can't do nothing about it.
You better get in
But he's
now.
getting to that,
I'm sure he's creeping on you.
Yeah, now that he's 14, he's starting to get a bit more man strength now. So and he just surpassed me when it comes to the height as well. So now he's getting bigger. Wow. He's getting more technical, and it won't be long before he's turning me into origami.
That's awesome, man. I got one more question for you, and I'll let you get back to your island paradise there. I'm sure Frankie's got some questions in closing too. You're retired now, man. You're living the good life. I'm just looking in the background. You are living the good life. Like you don't need to do any more fights. You've done it all. But let's see. Let's see.
I'll be in there a little later on. There's no ice in my pool either. No ice.
Do you mind if I tag along with Frankie when he comes over?
Hey, easy.
Now I was gonna ask you. You're retired now. You're living the good life. You seem very happy, man. You're grounded. You got your gym, but you get a call tomorrow from Jake Paul and Logan's Paul people to take one more fight. Would you do it?
Oh,
against
definitely. 100%.
against one of them?
He said definitely. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, 100%.
My man.
They're
The
making
only thing
people
is,
rich, man.
people underestimate how big Jake Paul is. He's a big dude.
boy.
He's like he
Yeah.
walks around probably 95.
Right.
And he keeps fighting these little welterweights that are
does, yeah.
half his size, and it's like it's sort of. But the Anderson Silva fight that was very impressive. Though I didn't think he had a
Anderson
chance
Silva
against Anderson.
was, yeah.
What do you
And
think
then,
about that fight? Because people, it kills,
yeah,
drives me
that
nuts
was-
when
that was
people
very-
say.
It
when
was
people
very
say it was
peculiar how Anderson didn't look. I don't know. I don't know if Anderson looked old or if he was holding back for contractual reasons to get paid.
I thought the
it's
first
very,
round he
very
held
bizarre.
back. He held back definitely the
Yeah.
first round.
It looked like he was sparring. It didn't look like he was trying to
Yeah.
to dominate or trying to hurt him or trying to. Everything was sort of looked like he was just playing until he got dropped. When he got dropped
Yeah.
in that 8th round, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
this isn't good.
That's
Yeah.
true.
This isn't supposed to happen. You're supposed to dominate. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. It so sucks. I was really had my high hopes for Anderson after what he did to Tito as well.
Yeah.
He looked brilliant against Tito, and
Slapped Tito.
to beat Chavez as well.
Right. Yeah. Chavez. Yeah.
So yeah, crazy. And then what? Speaking of, what's your gentleman's take on the Paddy, the Batty? Did you see the last one?
I did see. I thought Jared Gordon won. I'm kind of buddies with him. So, but
Yeah, that was. And then
that
the
was
whole
tough.
post-fight interview. Give me the fight of the night. It's like,
yeah. I
sure,
don't know.
dude.
That was a
Yeah,
little tough.
that's
That was
quite
a little
weird.
tough. Yeah.
You can't really blame him though. Not his fault. It's the judge's fault. They got shitty judges. They
Yeah.
got to do something about
Yeah.
these judges. You
Yeah.
know, they're shitty
But
judges.
you can also have humility and say, yeah, I think it was close
Oh,
fight. It could have gone
yeah,
either way.
100% agree with you
I'm
there.
very happy to get the decision.
Yeah.
But to turn around and pretend like you dominated for the whole 3
Yeah.
rounds.
That's
and
the new
every
age,
round
man.
should have been the 10-8 round. It's like,
But isn't that the new age? That's just the new age kids. You know, it's easier to
Yeah.
talk. You know, and speak this,
Yeah.
spit this crazy.
Yeah,
game,
I think
you know?
even Connor came up with he'd do all these trash talking in the lead up to the fights, but as soon as the fight was over, he'd be the first one to say, "Hey, look, this is a business. I was
Yeah,
just trying
right.
to create hype. I'm getting the pay-per-view numbers that are blowing other numbers out of the water. I apologize to my opponent for everything I said. In that respect, you go, oh yeah, I can see where it's coming from now.
Yeah, he did with a bunch. Yeah, probably more so than he didn't. But Khabib, no. Poirier, no. Like
Yeah, the last one, Poirier
he
was
took
rough.
it. Yeah, he was insulting
Yeah, the
religions
last
and
one-
wives and
Yeah,
kids
the
and
Poirier one
families.
was rough, bro.
Khabib and Poirier
the la-
were the two that he was not gentleman-like at all. But there were some examples of where he could be. Yes.
He got to let go of the persona after the
Yeah.
Poirier one.
Yeah.
It's like,
He's a good winner. He's a good winner,
your
not a
wife's
good
in my
loser.
DMs.
Yeah.
Your wife's in my DMs.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, Poirier showed some restraint. I tell you, because I might have run over and jumped on his leg at that point.
Yeah, Mr. Poirier's a man. I
yeah.
happened to chat to him a few times on the DMs, and he's always a polite. He always answers, and he always
Yes.
says good
Great
day.
guy. Great
Really
guy,
nice.
man.
He's
dude.
really,
Love
really
everything
nice
about
guy.
That guy. Yep.
Yeah, I've had him out to train in the past, years ago. Great dude.
All right, brother. Well, listen, man. I can see that you got paradise in the background. I'm not sure what happened earlier. I think there's such a big 15 hours difference between us?
Yeah,
That's
what time is
crazy,
it?
man. So it's Wednesday over there, like noonish or something, right?
Yeah, I live in the future. If
Yeah,
you need to know
brother.
your lottery numbers, hit me up. I'll let you know. Yeah.
Well, my man, I'm definitely a fan. I know Frankie is too, man. It was an
Always,
honor. It was a
always.
pleasure. You are a living legend. You don't get a living legend to talk to every day. So, honor, man. Pleasure to talk to you.
Hey,
Wish you
absolutely.
all the best in the future, and I hope you enjoy your retirement, brother. And if you get that call from the Logan brothers, I'll come watch that fight.
Hey, and please come and visit. You're more
Yeah,
than
I
welcome.
will. I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch when I come out there. Absolutely.
I want to take your family to the fun park so we can go and have some Australian hospitality.
That'd be great, brother. That'd be great.
For sure,
And
brother.
thank you again for the opportunity. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely,
it.
brother.
man.
Have a
Thanks for
chat.
coming on, man. Great talking to you. Great, chatting it up, my man.
Pleasure, brother.
Hey,
Take
good,
care.
brother.
Be
Hey,
well.
thank you.
Be well.